The 2024 Steamrail Open Days in Newport, Melbourne, Australia had everything from static displays to working exhibits, from model trains to a 1904 green Foden traction engine. There was even an old Melbourne and Metropolitan Tramways bus that I remember last seeing as a kid, 50 odd years ago. V-Line/Vic Rail had locos old and new featured in static displays around the site, with B72 diesel a working exhibit. T-classes 356 and 364, while fully operational and part of Steamrail's tour fleet, was static over the days. The steamers were of course the favourites, featuring K-class 140, 183 and 190, A2 class 986, D3 class 639, and R classes 700, 707, 711 and 761. They are all seen and described in this production. Steamrail Victoria is a non-profit group that restores Victorian railway heritage rolling stock. Volunteers help with restoration and crewing of their mainline tours and of course these open days. It was established in 1965 when I was 6 and is based at the Newport workshops. The open days are biannual. The freight train, which ran all day over 3 days, is being hauled by D3 639. The 1904 green Foden traction engine was built in England in 1904 for agriculture as one of the earliest tractors. It was used at the Steamrail Open Days as a static display, but as a Steamrail volunteer I was able to capture it in action before we opened on the Sunday, hauling an old cannon out of the workshops for a featured display. Pretty cool. The old Melbourne Metropolitan Tramways bus entered service in 1954 and its last run on 28th of August 1980. It's now currently owned by John Phillips. It seats 41 people, has a 6-cylinder 8-litre diesel motor and a 4-speed manual shift. At 10 metres long it has a 6-metre wheelbase. For people getting to the open days by public transport, 3 heritage buses ran shuttles between Newport Station, the workshops and the Newport Railway Museum every half hour over the 3 days. These Newport scenes were shot from one of the heritage buses. Nothing like the sights, sounds, smells and sort of a steam engine. The M231 shunter entered service in April 1959 as one of 2 shunters built to replace steam shunters in the Newport rail yards for the Victorian Railways. The 060 wheel configuration shunters have a 150 horsepower diesel hydraulic engine and have a max speed of 20 km per hour. Here it's pushing R700 off the Weighbridge. Listen to the engine growl as it winds up. The heritage-listed Weighbridge at the Newport Railway Yards is the only one still operational in Victoria. It was built by Henry Pooley and Son in England to weigh and balance steam locos in 1912 for the Victorian Railways, and is used to balance locomotive axles. Each track section, as shown in the video, is for each axle with the red cabinets, one per axle, housing the weighing and balancing gear. I wonder how heavy a long weight would be. The A2 class express passenger loco ran between 1907 and 1963 and was used on intrastate and interstate services. It had a 460 wheel configuration and weighed 121 tonnes. A2986 resumed service with Steamrail after a 32-year restoration period. The K-class steam locos were used as a branch line loco between 1922 and 1979. With a wheel configuration 280, they weigh 104 tonnes. Steamrail have restored Ks 153, 183 and 190. The D3 class steam loco was a mixed traffic loco and ran between 1902 to 1974. It had a 460 wheel configuration and weighed 94 tonnes. Even the local constabulary are getting in on the action. Budding train drivers, guys? All inquiries to the Steamrail office. Victorian Railways parcels van was a converted Tate motor carriage used for letters and parcel transport. It was built at Newport around 1921 and ceased service around 1986. I remember them well, seeing them on the Frankston line as a kid. The Newport Railway workshops, home of Steamrail, were built in the 1880s for the building, maintenance, refurbishment and later the restoration of railway rolling stock. The first loco built there was the Z-Class with one of the final locos, M231, seen earlier in the video, built in 1959. At its peak, there were up to 5,000 workers at the site, which even had its own cricket ground. How is he? Diesel loco B72 entered service in 1953 as a replacement for steam, used to haul passenger and freight trains until ending service in 1986. It has a 1500 horsepower diesel electric motor, a max speed of 115 kilometres per hour or 70 miles per hour, and weighs 123 tonnes. Here it is restored to its former glory in teacup livery. D3639 shunts the freight train back towards the workshops. Throughout the day, the locos alternated on the freight train, with even B72 getting a gig. The R-Class steam loco entered service between 1951 and 1974 before being superseded by diesel locos. It has a wheel configuration of 464 with a total weight of 187 tonnes. It can develop 1840 horsepower at 60 kilometres per hour. R711 and R761 are operated by Steamrail. R700 is being restored by Steamrail, with R707 run by R707 Operations Group. Call the fire brigade, workshops are going up. The inside stalls included the Mornington Peninsula Railway, Australian Model Railway Association and the Sunbury Model Railway Club. That concludes this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Astro Pete on YouTube. Look for the Blood Moon logo.